whoa, 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 whoa. Good morning. Or I guess good evening, maybe good afternoon. Whenever you're watching this, what's up? Some of you are here right now. Hello. Hey, out of curiosity, guys, how many of you have actually seen the movie at this point? I know a ton of people went to the fan screenings, but how many of our people went to the fan screening? That's a question. Okay, all right. Looks like we got some peeps that seen it. We're gonna try to do no spoilers today, guys. I will discuss. I have a ton of notes. You know, I have a ton of stuff I want to say about the film. But I'm gonna try to keep it non-spoilery. We'll talk spoilers about the movie and whatnot eventually. But I'm gonna try not to talk about spoilers. I think that given what the movie is, everything that we've been talking about leading up to it, like how important it is, the conversation around the film is enough to sustain us today. I think we will be sustained today. I have a lot to say, a lot of different points to make, some hot takes maybe, and just generally want to just explain not only how I feel about the film, but how I felt about the whole situation leading up to, because there's some things here that, man, there's some context and there's some stuff that I want to talk about without, again, trying really hard not to get into spoilers. So that's what we're going to do today. There's also some Fantastic Four stuff, the sort of reviews or whatever for the first 30 minutes. That stuff's out there. People are talking about that, so we can get into that later on. And then, yeah, there's just some basic rumblings, some cool stuff like that. But I think, by and large, today, we will talk Superman. I think that is what is on the agenda. But anyways, how you guys doing? How's everybody feeling out there? Blue X says, hi. Hey, what's up, man? You hit me? Okay, I'll go over a few questions. I know people probably threw some stuff in here in the minute. Rossi, thank you for the rose, man. Really appreciate it. Benjamin says, if you're going to bring coffee to class, bring it up for everyone. You know, that's a good point. That's actually a good point. That's a fair point. Caleb Senpai says, I'm going to have to catch this on the replay, but just want to hop in and say I actually loved Superman. It had silly gun shit, but it was glorious. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I certainly have some thoughts about it. We're going to get into it. I'm letting it linger, guys. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I've said a little bit here, I've said a little bit there, but I'm going to let it linger. I'm going to let it linger for just a little while longer. Nate says, movie was great. The Mr. Terrific scene was sick, and the camera movements worked way better in the movie than in the trailers. Let's hope F4 is good too. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. Ross says, saw Superman and can't believe how hopeful it is. Wow. Yeah. There's a tonal thing. There's something happening with the movie that is very positive and very admirable. For sure, man. For sure. And we're going to get into all of it. Josh, don't bother watching F4, Doomsday, or Secret Wars. Seems like you're all DC now. Oh, is that what it seems like? Is that what it seems like to you? Alfredo Oliva, okay, says, just watched it last night. While I enjoyed it, was it not messy and underwhelming? I just felt like it should have been better, cleaner, I guess. Love seeing DC winning, but they need to do better. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, man. I mean, again, I don't want to answer your question directly right now because I'm kind of being an asshole and letting it linger, so I'm going to let it linger just a little bit longer. God damn it. But I respect you for cutting right at it. Coming right at it with a question, trying to shape the conversation, the narrative. Totally. I like it. I also like your name. So, thanks. Zach says, Josh, you are always enough to sustain me. Appreciate it, brother. That's why you're the GOAT. Much love to the Nerd Vengers today. Oh, my God. That's just so much glazing. Keep it up. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Rossi says, just wanted to say that Cool Bear isn't being a very cool bear about Superman, Joshua. We only hope he lives up to the name someday. Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot, there's still a lot of folks in the community that are rooting against Superman. There's a person in the community, I think his name's Evil Donner, and he fucking hated Superman, like, to the point to which he was like, I think I'm over comic book shit. And he actually had this reaction yesterday before I saw the movie, and I was a little bit like, I'm going to get into it all, man, because I think it's actually a fascinating story. My experience watching the film is like a whole goddamn thing, and I'm going to take you through it because it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride. I'll say this before getting into a little bit more of the thoughts, because I want to talk about why I think why James Gunn surprised me. I have 5 different things that people were wrong about Superman, and I think that'll be an interesting conversation. And then I'm just going to take you through my experience of watching the film, which I think will help you maybe understand why I'm so positive on it. I am positive on it. And then I'll give you kind of like my final thoughts as far as like a review or whatever for the film. But yeah, I think that I can absolutely recognize how this film would fail to connect with people. I could recognize in it how maybe some people just it's not for them or whatever. Like I could totally see that. However, I do have to kind of strongly suggest that it works in ways that are really important. And ultimately, I think a really good movie because of the moment it had to meet. But we'll get into it in a second. PJ says, as a longtime DC fan, I'm stoked to see this. Finally, something to hope for. Yeah, I think DC is well represented here. David says, soundtrack good. Only reason I want to see it. Soundtrack's good. So it's more of a score than a soundtrack, although there are a couple needle drops. They're actually really well placed, and they're sort of diegetic to the film. But they're in there, and the music's great. The music's incredible. In fact, I think the soundtrack does some heavy lifting in this thing. But we'll get into it. Leaf says, Superman, 9 out of 10. F4 is in big trouble. Girl boss movies following that Superman movie will look even worse by comparison. New DCU will crush. Yeah. You know what's kind of interesting about that? So far from what I've seen, most of the, I don't know what you would call them, I guess. I guess we just call them the anti-woke crowd. I don't know. I'm sorry. Is there a better way to refer to y'all? I'm not trying to be a dick. I just think that's your thing, like whatever. From what I have seen, a lot of that crowd doesn't like Superman. And they're being, like, real vocal about it, too. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting that you make that point, Leave. I wonder if that will translate to the actual conversation around it. I don't know. Those things fascinate me. I mean, there was a moment where that crowd seemed split on the Mario movie. And there was, like, a whole bunch of people saying it was a girl boss movie, the Mario movie. And then there was... I just sit back and I'm fascinated by it. And I just kind of watch the conversations go down. But, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting point, I guess. Warhammer Heresy, appreciate the gifted membership, bro. I have my Gladius. I just bought another Gladius Grav Tank for the Custodes because I've been playing a lot on Tabletop Simulator. And, man, I needed another tank, you know what I mean? And it arrives today. Whoo, it arrives today, baby. Woo! Appreciate you. Braden says, I cried multiple times while not perfect movie. It was a perfect Superman movie. Ooh, that's a cool take. I am happy that the Big Blue Boy Scout has been properly adapted. Yeah, I think I don't have anything to disagree with in that statement, brother. Chat, do you think I cried when I watched Superman? Do you think that, like, the Grinch, my heart grew 2.5 sizes or whatever? If you think I cried, put a 1 into the chat. I'm just curious. A lot of people saying they cried in this movie, man. Kevin says, I'm a big sweaty and I loved it. My wife is a normie and she loved it as well. I call that a win. That is a win. That is a win. Look at all you guys. Look at all these ones. Y'all must think I'm soft as Charmin up in this bitch. What? Do you even know me? Screens Scene Stasher says, most important question, what kind of Batman will fit the tone of the new DC universe? That's a great question, man. I don't know. Maybe a question for a different stream, to be honest with you. But it's a good question, brother. I appreciate the 5. I talked about this a bit. We'll talk about it more. That's going to be an ongoing conversation because I guess without going into spoilers, that problem is not solved in the film. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Is your bet in jeopardy? Unfortunately, I don't think so. Which is a weird thing to hear me probably say. I guess the reason I'm saying unfortunately is, I really like Superman now. Spoiler alert. I guess I'll just rip the fucking Band-Aid off. I fucking love the movie. Okay? I fucking love the movie. Okay? I can't believe it. Against all the goddamn odds. Against all the fucking odds. I love the movie. I fucking love it! Okay? And so, it's tough because I actually now I'm switching teams. I want the movie to do well. But I don't really, I mean, I see a 200 million global opener. That's decent. But that doesn't seem great, if I'm being honest. That doesn't seem like what it needs to be to look, if we get towards 250, maybe past 250, maybe you're looking at a pretty good box office. Unfortunately, I don't know if I see that, man. I don't know if I see that. Now, obviously, the strong reviews and the strong word of mouth is going to help. It's not like it's going to hurt. I guess the jury's just kind of out as far as how much it will help. You know? So, I don't know. I don't know what to... I don't know. It's a weird movie. The whole thing feels weird. The whole thing feels a little weird. Because, oh, man, I got so much to say. Man. Oh. John Cross says, can we do a spoiler talk on member stream tonight? I don't know about that, brother. Seems like kind of co-opting a public thing for something you just want to do or whatever. I get it, though. I get it. Lou says, surprised FNT crew and WDW Pro and Film Threat hate it. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yo, do me a favor, guys. We're about to get into this. Let's start to chop it up, man. Let's start to chop it up. Let me do my goddamn thing here, okay? But do me a favor, like the video, like the stream. Just give me a little like. Just throw a little like, because I'm having a goddamn existential crisis up here with how much I actually like this fucking movie. So just throw a pittance like my way. All right. Okay. So, first thing I want to say here, after all of the lead up, after all of the anticipation, all the conversation, the promotion, making a lot of content, trying to kind of stay on top of how to manage expectations for the films. Which, by the way, on a side note here, I'm in the middle of a story and I'm already fucking this segment up. But on a side note, guys, this might be the first time in my adult life that I actually met a project with proper expectations. Which is another thing I probably have to explore a little bit more. I don't know exactly even how this happened, but I think I have a habit, as many of you have accused me of overhyping myself for projects, or perhaps building versions of these stories, movies, and things in my head that are really fucking cool, and then getting a little butthurt when they don't happen. Okay, so wow, what a strange thing that I met this movie, I think, with the exact proper expectations, and I don't even know that I did that on purpose per se. But I will say that it was pretty cool. So I don't know. We're gonna try to do that. Try to reel the expectations back a little bit, maybe, and we'll have a better time at these things. But considering where we were at just yesterday, considering just how I've been thinking about the movie, and I think especially considering the tonal thing, right? Guys, this whole conversation has been a little mischaracterized over the past year. Because it's actually completely fucking reasonable to look at James Gunn look at his sensibilities, look at his body of work, and then know the character of Superman and be like, I've got some concerns. Like, I think that's fucking completely reasonable. And I feel like there's been this weird thing going on where so many people don't, want to acknowledge that, or like maybe it got a little toxic and then people, want to avoid it or whatever. But that's what it was. Like, to me, that's the whole fucking thing, was like, would that work, right? And I will say that the most resounding takeaway I have from the film is that it did work, and therefore James Gunn really surprised me, right? Like, and that can only happen if you kind of have a notion of what's going to happen, if you have built a model for it, if you have expectations, and then it goes a different way. So James Gunn really surprised me, okay? And the thing I want to say right away, because we're going to get into the minutia, we're going to talk about, like, different aspects of the film, etc. This is not the best James Gunn movie, in my opinion. It is also not the best Superman movie, in my opinion. Okay? But what it is maybe the most important James Gunn movie. And what it is I think almost certainly the most important DC movie of all time. And considering how important this movie was, somehow, some way, even though it's not the best one he's ever made, it's not the best Superman movie ever, and people will, have different feelings on that. This is the best that Gunn has ever met the moment, and it is, I think, the most important moment of his career. And so my takeaway from the film is that it is actually the perfect Superman movie for the moment. And in that way, I think, like, it really accomplishes something that I had an incredible amount of doubt it would be able to accomplish. And that's crazy. Like, that to me is truly the take that I had walking away from this film. Was, yeah, I don't know if it's like my ideal film. I don't know that it's the best one I've ever seen. I don't even think it's the best thing he's ever done. But goddamn, did it ring true and perfect for what I think it needed to be. And I think he deserves an incredible amount of credit for that, because I think he understood the assignment. Like, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. And there's a lot of people are going to feel differently about this, of course. But I think specifically for, my audience and the people that kind of fuck with me, I think it's important for you to hear that from my mouth parts, considering that I was authentically invested in the conversation around this exact point and incredibly concerned and vocally concerned about how this would go down. And I'm telling you, not just from an individual perspective of how it hit me, but I was in a crowd last night, man, and people are cheering for this fucking movie. People are very excited. Like, the vibe I got last night was that I think it's actually perfect for the moment. And I hope it does well. I hope it succeeds. That's a totally different conversation. But what I can say truly is that that's sort of the resounding takeaway for me, is that it really did surprise me. And I think he nailed it for what it needed to be. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, we watched a ton of reviews yesterday, right? And, there's pieces of the reviews from individuals that I disagree with, which I'm going to get into in a second here. There's pieces of the reviews from individuals that I connect with and I understand a little bit better now having seen the film. There's one review in particular from yesterday that I think really, to me, was the one I most identified with when I was, like, actually walking out of the theater. Do you remember yesterday there was a gentleman, and I'm blanking on his name. Might have been film something. I'm fucking terrible at that. But he was saying something like, everybody's talking about the spectacle. Everybody's talking about this, that, second, and the third. But the real juice of this movie is in the quiet moments. The real part of this film that elevates are the emotional beats. Do you remember that when that guy yesterday? To me, that is the one that connected the most with how I personally felt about the film, backed up by, I think, a proper setup and like a proper version of all of the different DC things that you want to see on display. So, like, credit where credit is due, like a good DC universe that feels lived in, that has layers to it, that has questions that you want to answer. And you're trying to like think of how to put it together with what you know about DC Comics, and it's certainly a different version in many ways. So it has like its own unique thing, etc., etc. And also, I'm sweating. It's so hot in here. What the fuck? Anyway, we're gonna do the fucking sweat-drenched glazing of Superman today, and I don't give a fuck. But yeah, that's what I'd have to say, guys, is like the first thing I just kind of want to say is that the movie really surprised me, man. And I think, like, I guess I wonder what that'll translate to for other folks, because, you know, there's something I'm going to get into in a little bit here where, you know, before seeing the movie, I thought the marketing for it was good. We had like several conversations. Remember, we were like, dude, the marketing for this movie is like really good. Like, oh man, this guy, this Disney guy, you know, that they brought in, he's doing great. Yeah, nah, man. It's crazy because now, on the other side of it, I actually feel the opposite. I actually feel like the marketing for this movie is doing it an incredible disservice. Because I think I don't know. It feels almost like they're selling something, and that's not really the juice. You know, like that's not really the juice. So that's like the first thing I wanted to say is just that the movie really surprised me, and that's cool. That's cool. So I'm happy about that. Man, this is some bullshit. So our actual air conditioner in the actual house is fucked. I was gonna try not to bring this up, but now I have to, and I gotta complain about it. The actual air, because this room sucks balls, right? Like this room sucks balls. We've been trying to figure it out for years. It seems like a portal to hell itself opens in here, despite trying to cool it down in here. This room sucks balls. Now, on top of that, the actual house air conditioner is fucked. Give me 1 second, chat. I'll be right back. I can't fucking believe this shit. I can't fucking believe this shit. Okay, I just got naked. We're good. We're good. I'm feeling much better already. We're okay. We're okay. We're all right. It's gonna be all right. Okay. So, yeah, that's sort of the first thing I wanted to say. Now I want to go over 5 different things that I think people are getting wrong about Superman, because I gotta tell you, man, like the experience of, like, even yesterday, right? So I had to like drive a good bit to go to where I was gonna check the film out, and like you're hearing all these different reactions. You know what I mean? Like you're hearing all these different people talk about it, and it does like affect you a little bit, right? Like I was starting to think, especially the Jeremy Jahns one, man. Like I was watching the Jeremy Jahns review and I was laughing at it, but I also got really fucking worried, dude. Like I was because he was saying some shit. Like he said something in his review that I was like, God damn, fuck, you know? And he said, you already know if you're going to like this movie or not. And he's like, if you were thinking it's Guardians of the Galaxy Superman, Yes, if you were thinking like, I think Marvel Superman could work, yes, like, you already know what it's gonna be like. And I was like, fuck! No! And I was just, as I was watching the film, I kept thinking to myself, like, these motherfuckers are wrong. These motherfuckers are wrong. So, let's get into it. I think people are wrong about Superman. Not everybody, obviously, and not everything, and it's subjective, blah, blah, blah. But there's some things going on, like, you know, with the Superman movie, but also just the conversations around the Superman movie that I think are fucking wrong, okay? And I want to set the record straight. According to me, no, this shit is not true. So let's go through them. Number 5, the Gunn humor kills the film. Chat, have you heard this criticism? Have you heard this out there? Are you seeing people talk about this where people are saying, man, the James Gunn humor in this movie is killing it, or the Gunn humor or the silliness is holding the movie back? Have you heard this complaint? Yeah, of course. That's something people are saying, okay? Yes, from you. Hey, shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Listen, I think I might be a person that is maybe one of the most primed to hate that shit, dude. To hate that shit. I was so worried about it. I fucking hate it. And I gotta tell you, didn't bother me at all. I don't know how to explain it. That's just authentically what it was. Like, I was ready every single time. I was ready to fucking hate it. You know, I thought it was gonna stomp over the tone. I thought it was gonna shortchange some of the moments. I think this is the most dialed back I have ever seen Gunn. And the thing that's crazy is, like, dude, I feel like people are just not going to give him credit for it. But, like, I fucking will. Because, again, that was the thing I was the most worried about. It was the thing I was the most worried about. And I'm telling you right now, it does not retract from the film. At least for me personally, I had zero problem with it whatsoever. Is there some goofiness? Yes. You know, a lot of people keep bringing up the Justice League Unlimited comparison. I think that's a good comparison because it is silly. Like, don't get me wrong. The tone of the film is silly. There's stuff going on that's like, you know, I feel like people just keep saying this like it's a comic book come to life, and that's like it's short change, or it's a phrase they're using to like try to articulate something that they can't quite articulate. But I get it because the movie has a sensibility of like the situation, the characters, the background that is not super serious. Like, it's not super serious. And yet I feel like it was right for the movie. And I feel like it's like it's a good ride. It softened some things. I truly did not think that it retracted away. There were a couple moments I couldn't fucking believe it where I laughed out loud in spite of myself. Okay, now we're trying not to do spoilers here, okay? Try not to do spoilers. But there's a spoiler out there with a hashtag. You guys know it. Everybody knows it in chat. You know exactly what I'm talking about. We talked about this. We complained about this. And I told people when I was in New York City, I told people about this. And I said, I hope it's cut. This is ridiculous. I don't want this in the movie, right? And I'm telling you, the first time it comes up, I laughed out loud, guys. I laughed out loud. And so did a lot of people in my theater. It kind of worked. Like, I'm telling you, it's a passing part of the film. It's not a big part of it. But the execution of it, I thought was actually pretty good. I thought it was actually pretty good. I can't fucking believe it. Dude, I'm telling you right now, not a lot of people are going to give him credit for this. He dialed it way the fuck back. He found a different kind of vibe. You know how, like, a lot of us have been like, what is this dude trying to... I've seen your, like, porno versions of superhero movies and shit. Like, James Gunn, I've seen the tweets. You know, no offense. But, like, I know... Like, it's always felt weird to me how he comes out there and he's, like, acting, like, fatherly and, like... You know, like we're like, dude, I know who you are. Like, what is this? I get it now with the movie. Dude, guys, he actually took it fucking seriously. He, I think, worked against some of his better judgment, collaborated with other people, peeled it way the fuck back. Like, dude, I'm telling you, as somebody that was going to be super irritated by it, I was primed to fucking hate it, and I was on the watch for it, bro. I was watching out for it. The execution of this was so good that I have zero complaints about that aspect of it. Like, I literally remember, and this might be a little telling for the experience of the film, because I want to get into that in a little bit too. Like, how did I actually view the movie? But there's a moment about 25 minutes into the film. I remember sitting there being like, dude, everybody's wrong. It's just not that good. Like, that was the thought I had. I was literally like, oh, dude, everybody's wrong. Like, the humor's ridiculous. Lex is too ridiculous. Nope. You know, it's way too all over the place. Like, maybe a little bit of that, but not really. I just remember thinking, like, 25 minutes in, like, it's just not that good. But all the stuff people were saying were terrible. I don't see it. And then it got good. And then I was like, oh, shit. Now it's actually good. But we'll get there in a second. So that's like the fifth thing, is the James Gunn humor kills the movie. I could not disagree with that more. I think my biggest fucking problem, my biggest concern, he did it. He pulled it way the fuck back. I think it's the most modest James Gunn film as far as like that humor and that ridiculousness. The most dialed back I've ever seen him. And I think that was the assignment. I think that's what you should do for this. So credit where credit's due. Number 4, this is something I think people are wrong about. Everybody's wrong about this. And that is that the marketing for this movie is great. No, it isn't. After seeing the film, holy shit. Do you guys know how, some of you brought this up before, but people like Robert Meyer Burnett had said that he talked to people that said the trailers were misdirection. Do you guys remember that? People were saying, like, the trailers are misdirection. And I'm like, I at the time, I had no idea what that could mean, right? I thought maybe it had something to do with plot leak, blah, blah, blah. Guys, what they're saying to you is the clip of them fighting when they're doing the interview, when you actually see that scene, it is so much more balanced and human and emotional and real than what you get in that trailer. Like, bro, that trailer fucked with me. Remember that? That trailer fucked with Robert Meyer Burnett. Remember, he came out and said, like, I'm excited for the movie, blah, 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 blah. But this is the wrong way to start the most important trailer you've done, et cetera, right? That trailer doing no favors to the movie whatsoever. But on top of that, guys, that moment in the one trailer or the teaser where the guy says, hello, loser, and then Clark says, you're a loser. And remember, like, most of us were like, oh, Jesus Christ. He doesn't even say that in the film. He doesn't even say that in the film. Bro, there are other things. There are other things in the trailer that are, I guess this is what I don't understand. Was there a version of the movie that was more like that was a little bit more Gunn, and maybe they were using that footage and they were putting it out there, and then maybe they changed it behind the scenes? Like, I guess that would be an explanation for it, because otherwise, dude, I think this is terrible fucking marketing. And by the way, this movie still might not do well. This movie might only make like 500 million, which I think is a shame. Like, I think it deserves to do a lot better. And I'm sorry, did I spoil something? Sorry. I think it deserves to do well, and I think we're going to have a different conversation if this thing really underperforms. All of a sudden, I'm looking at the marketing. All of a sudden, I'm looking at the clips. All of a sudden, I'm like, what the fuck? That seems crazy to me. So after having seen the film, I can tell you, I think people are wrong about the James Gunn humor. I think people are wrong that the marketing is good. And the next thing, I think people are wrong that the leaks were terrible, and then more to the point that you should not read the leaks. Okay? Because here's the thing. We're not going to get into spoilers here. But basically, the leaks were 100% accurate. And they had been accurate for a long time. Okay? And people got a little bit mad at me for like talking about it or spreading it out there. And then I remember, there were just some of you guys were saying like, it's going to put a bad taste in your mouth. It's going to affect the way you experience the film. And all of that. And I got to say, I think my expectations were actually really properly set by knowing all of the leaks. And I think almost in every example of things I was worried about from the leaks, it's so much better in the actual movie. Like, literally almost everything that I was like, I don't know about that. I'm kind of questioning that. Oh, well, how could this work? How's that going to feel? Like, I'm talking every single one of those things is so much better in the movie. And so, I don't know. I feel like this was an example. It cuts a little bit similar to, and this is going to sound a little controversial, but Rise of Skywalker. In the sense that, like, the Rise of Skywalker leaks were so fucking accurate, dude. Like, the Rise of Skywalker leaks were like, oh my God, we know the whole fucking movie. And then when you saw it in the film, it was just as bad, if not worse, than what you had imagined when you were reading the leaks, right? Not the case with Superman. When I was watching Superman, I was like, oh my God. Everything that I read and the way that I had imagined it, dude, it's so much better in the film. It's so much better in the movie. So if you're a person that, read the leaks or watched the video that we did on the leaks and you were like, that kind of sounds like shit. I'm here to tell you, I think all of it is actually done really well. And also, if you go in knowing that stuff, I actually think you're going to have a really good time, man. Like, we've talked about this so much. So many people have different ideas and flavor, opinions about this. Some people think leaks and scoops are ruining fandom and all that, but the truth is there's a reason people will often enjoy a film better the second time, and that's partially because they know what's coming, and so then they can actually just allow their brain to experience it a little bit in a better way, just to observe it, maybe pick out little details that you missed before. You don't have to process it. You can just kind of enjoy it a little bit more. I think this is also why people like foreshadowing, right? To take it to that level, it's like people like, because there's some stuff in this movie that, even if you don't know the leaks, like, it's a little heavy-handed with the exposition where they're like, there's a message. It soothes him. He really likes this. Hope it's not totally misunderstood by him and breaks his identity later on in the film. Like, you know what I mean? Like, stuff that's just, like, so fucking obvious. But at the same time, I can't help but just admit that the way it's executed, the way it hit me, was satisfying. It felt satisfying. And I think it's going to satisfy a lot of people, dude. Like, I think it's a true crowd pleaser because, like, you look at the leaks and you're like, man, this is, like, kind of contrived, like, kind of simple, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, it's a fun series of things to go through. Like, it's legitimately a fun series of events to go through. So that's the third thing people are wrong about. People are like, the leaks are terrible. Dead ass. People are like, the leaks for this movie are fucking terrible. And I always said, some of this sounds bad. Some of this sounds good. We gotta wait till we see it in the movie. Bro, they're dope. It's better than you would think. And I had a better experience because I knew. Okay? Now, number 2. This is something I think everybody's getting wrong, man. And it's probably not everybody, but I've seen this take out there a lot. Like, for instance, Scott Mendelsohn, and, nothing against Scott Mendelsohn or whatever. But we talked about Scott's review yesterday, his social media review, and it seemed like it was, on the pretty negative side. He came out and said that he was grateful that he waited 12 hours, and he was a lot more positive on the film. Gave it a 6 out of 10 with a fresh tomato. And by the way, we were correct when we said that the tomato score would potentially be high, but if you looked into the tomato score, The actual scores are a little bit closer, like 60, 70, which is interesting. But the tomato score looks great. It's really good. I don't know where it's at. Let's look. Where's it at exactly right now? It was like 85. Yes, yeah, 85. That's fucking solid as fuck. Okay. So this is the thing. When Scott Mendelson said that he had decided to give it a more positive score, one of the things he said was because it was like overtly political. And everybody's talking about these countries, and everybody's talking about how it's a political movie, and there was the Gunn comments that get pulled out. And I think a lot of people just see what they want to see in it. But I'll tell you this. I don't think this thing's fucking political at all. I think this is apolitical while being like political in the sense of the story. It actually reminds me a lot of Thunderbolts in that sense. Where Thunderbolts is a movie that's like, it's like strictly political because it's like senators, packets, committees, all that stuff. Like it's it's on Capitol Hill, like it's inherently political, and yet it's not political in the sense that it's speaking to allegories of our current political situation or anything like that. I feel very similar to Superman. Like Superman is like, they're going to talk about the Secretary of State, the president, councils, other world leaders, delicate issues. But they're actually, I don't think they're getting political at all in the film. Like, I just got to be honest, man. I think that's something people are getting wrong. And I also think it's kind of a shame because I think there's some people trying to say that almost as a way to like, say like, hey, just so you know, this movie's going to try to teach you a lesson or some shit. And it is, but it's not a political lesson. It's an apolitical message. And I think that's good. So I think that's another thing that people are getting wrong. So I think people are wrong about the Gunn humor. People are wrong that it was marketed well. I think people were wrong that the leagues were terrible. I think people were wrong that it's a political film. And then the final thing that I want to say here, I want to push back on this idea that it's a comic book come to life, okay? I'm not trying to be a dick, but I see this all over the place. Everybody's saying it. It's a big part of the narrative around this film. And I want to push back on that, actually. But the only reason I want to push back on it is because I think there's an underlying part of that statement that is to suggest that it's not for normies. I think inherent to that statement when people are like, it's a comic book come to life, or it's the most comic booky movie I've ever seen in my fucking life. I think what people are really trying to say is, in a sense, it's catered to certain sensibilities and therefore inaccessible if you don't have those sensibilities. In a way, what people are saying is it's not going to activate normies or your average people the same way that it would a nerd. Guys, I think that is so the wrong message for this movie. Dude, the people that love this movie, you're fucking it up. You're fucking it up. You are fucking this thing up. Because that's not what the message should be. Okay? Here, let me give you one example of why I think this is not true. I have never in my life felt the need or had the desire to watch a comic book movie with my dad. Okay? Never. I do this for a living. I get excited for some movies. I get really excited for some movies. But like, take No Way Home for an example. I love No Way Home. Okay? And I think it's a damn good movie. I think it's better than most people give it credit for. But if I think about like why am I excited for No Way Home? And how could I even explain that to my dad? Okay? Like, let me give you an example of how that conversation goes. Oh, hey, Dad, new Spider-Man movie. Do you remember how there were other Spider-Man movies? I mean, I guess. Do you want to go see a movie where all the Spider-Man movie are in the same movie? No, I don't. What? You see what I mean? Like, he's not, that's not going to do anything for him. I wouldn't even bring it up. That is a comic book thing. Having multiple versions of the same character from different universes, that's a comic book thing. That's a comic book come to life. That's like, yeah, maybe not, unless you can kind of let go of some of these things that you like about other movies and shit like that. And by the way, that movie did actually amazing, right? And it obviously activated a lot of normies as well. But I'm just saying, like, this whole idea that the movie is... I think people are overselling that. I actually think this movie... As I'm saying, I actually want to go see this film with my dad. This is a movie that I don't think I need to, like, explain shit or translate anything or try to, you know, explain to my dad the intricacies of the DC universe. I don't think you need to know any of that. I don't think you need... Like, I actually think, and especially because when I saw it in the crowd yesterday, like, people were loving it, bro. Like, people were just loving it. I think normies will love this movie. And I don't think it has maybe some of the issues that an overly comic booky kind of a film would have. So I actually think people are wrong about that too. You know, and I kind of wanted to push back against that narrative, and that's 5 fucking things that I think people are getting wrong, about Superman. So I don't know, man. I wanted to put that out there because it's a wild time. Like, it's a wild time. It's a wild place to be at, having seen it, having experienced the narrative, seeing what's going on online. It's a crazy fucking time, man. Crazy fucking time. So in a second here, I'll actually take you through my experience of watching the movie. I'll talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, what connected with me. There was one moment in particular that really, really emotionally connected with me and made me really enjoy the movie. But let's take a second here. Let me catch up on some of these chats and all the support. Appreciate the love. And I wonder if you have any thoughts about just any of the stuff I've talked about or said so far. Okay. Let's see here. Dewey says, Josh, gives honest, well-balanced, fair opinion, randoms. Fuck you, Josh. You're just a hater. Dude, in the comments on stream yesterday were insane. Oh, yeah. There's some people that are... I think we just also have to acknowledge that, like, this movie in particular has brought out the worst in some people and also some really weird, like, bot activity and shit. I wouldn't pay too much attention to it. I wouldn't worry about it. John Solo says, Superman doing good is good for Fantastic Four. That's true. And the comic book movie genre going forward, in my opinion, can't wait to see it on Friday. Oh, yeah. No, I think this is actually so good for the genre. Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, I guess we'll see, right? Because it has to perform, right? It has to perform. It has to show up. And I hope that it is able to. I want it to, like, exceed... kind of the range right now and then have a really good hold. That's the success. That's like the formula for success. So we'll see what happens. Chadwick says, sorry to interrupt. Just joined. Love listening at work. F4 movie canon prequel origin comic is out today. Got my copy waiting at the local shop. Yeah, I did see that. It seems kind of cool, actually. I don't want to give you any spoilers, but they go up into space and there's an accident. And then they get powers from the accident. Nespressos sure do take a long time to make coffee. They do, actually. They do, but they're worth it, man. It's so good. Watch Those Wrist Rockets says the Lex theme music is dope. Dude, Lex was perfect, man. I'm sorry. Lex was fucking perfect. I was so worried about Lex because there's parts in the trailer where you're like, man, this dude's like leaning into the goofy. Nope. Loved him. Loved Lex. Special Ed, welcome to the Nerd Avengers. What an incredible name. What an incredible name. We have buses of all kinds of lengths here at the Den of Nerds, just so you know. Appreciate you, bud. Ash Cross said, just tell me they have screaming goats. No screaming goats. No screaming goats. Chris says 6.5 out of 10 for me. Didn't love the film, but enjoyed it. Acting is great. And loved the second half, but the story was meh. And the Gunnisms brought it down for me. We'll see it again, though. Very fun. Hashtag look up. Oh, interesting, Chris. Appreciate the support, man. That's wild. So, 6.5. didn't love it. Interesting. All right, bud. DBZ now says, I think Superman as a character is very polarizing for fans, but I think general audiences will love this. Oh, that's a good take. Yeah, you could be right. You could be on something there. Dude keeps dodging the Man of Steel question. What's the Man of Steel question, chat? What do you want me to say? Do you want me to say I like Man of Steel better? Would that make you guys feel better? Would that make you feel better? Shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Yeah, maybe I'll answer that question. Dark Hauser says, so does this mean your hair will match with Gunn's? I don't know. I mean, a lot of you guys keep bringing that up, but nobody's found the clip where I supposedly said I would do that. So, nope. DBZ down with a 10 spot says, I think many Superman fans will be divided on the heritage aspect. This is a non-spoiler stream. We'll talk about that at a later date. Special Ed gifted 5 members. Wow. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Andrew Gates says, this is why I respect Josh. He's keeping it real. Thanks, man. I don't know. Some people probably think I'm not, but all I can do is just gonna tell you how I feel about it, how it hit me. You know what I mean? And it hit me good. John Bo, appreciate you. Bobby says, did your crowd clap at the end? Mine was dead silent. Dude, ours actually did clap. And I'm going to be honest with you, I fucking clapped. I'm going to be honest with you, I fucking clapped, okay? Now, I gave it one of these, like a little bit of a golf clap, you know? But I was at least moved to join the crowd. Bro, I'm telling you, like, our crowd was clapping. People were liking it. There were a whole bunch of moms that were like, I thought that was really fun, you know, being really vocal, you know. God bless the moms, man, you know. Yeah, dude, people clap for sure. Rossi, thank you for the 5 gifted, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Cool Bear says, Josh glazing James Goon's super shit. Just kidding. But I really have zero desire to see this, but Philip is going to drag me to see it with him. Man of Steel is still king. Yeah, no, I get you, man. I get you, and I'm glad he's dragging you to it. I have plenty of criticisms of the lead up to this film. I still have a lot of issues with how Gunn has handled this, with how Warner Brothers has handled this. I still have all sorts of issues. But the product itself, at the end of the day, the thing that was served up to me met the moment and was really good. It won me over in spite of all the trepidation, in spite of all the concerns. It won me over, and I think it's a really good movie. I think it's really good. So that's all I can tell you, man. That's all I can really tell you. Eli says, hey, Josh, after seeing Superman, do you think it'll do more at the box office than F4? Have a great week. Love the streams, bro. No, I don't think so. Look, here's the thing. If Fantastic Four makes less money than Superman, then I think it will be the case that Fantastic Four is just underperforming like crazy. If Fantastic Four bombs, then there is a chance that Superman does better than it. But from where I'm standing right now, it seems like Superman's going to open between 200 and 250. Even if it holds at 50 or 60%, you're looking like 350 worldwide after 2 weeks, and then Fantastic Four comes in. I just don't see. Superman has to leg out, bro. People have to be seeing Superman a month from now, which could happen. It could happen because I think it's really fucking good. That message has to be received, though. And by the way, I'm just one dude. Other people might not feel that way. You know what I mean? So I mean, look, unless something crazy happens, which, by the way, I've been wrong. 250's opening is fair. Yeah, but that's still not, still like kind of not good enough. You know? I don't know, man. Like, the Jurassic movie just opened at like 300 plus. And Jurassic might not even make 6, 7. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think there's enough asterisks and bullshit going on in the industry that it's not a clear L if it, doesn't make that money. But, yeah, I swear you're trolling. What part do you think's the troll? If you had to compare Superman movie to another comic book movie, what would it be? I'm not seeing it until Saturday. That's a tough one, man. I almost want to say that this movie is different than almost every comic book movie. I am not sure how to answer that question. Yeah. I think it's dialed back James Gunn. I think it's dialed back James Gunn with a really unique heart. There's something special about the movie, but it's not a masterpiece. It's not it's a special movie, and there's something about the film that makes it stand apart. That's really cool. But because of that, I almost don't want to compare it to any other movie in the genre. We'll get into it in more detail in a second here. Having to see Subs at 10 p.m. tomorrow night because all their showings across 5 screens at my local cinema are sold out. Crypto popcorn bucket. Wow, that's great, man. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, you'd like to believe that the positive reviews will help the box office. I would assume they will. It's just like, how much room is there for it to actually grow? I'm not sure. Okay, that I'm not sure about. All right, so let me now, we'll get into these questions here. Is it worth a 2-hour drive to see it in IMAX or not? Oh, man, that's a subjective question. Are you a big Superman fan? If you're a big Superman fan, I would say yes, but I also, I don't feel very comfortable telling people to travel to do anything. Because then if you don't like it, you're going to get mad at me. And don't do that. Bobby says, I was disappointed in the movie, but I love the characters in the lived-in world. Looking forward to seeing the characters more and really hope others enjoy it like you did so we can get more DCU. I think you're getting more DCU. I mean, I think you're getting more DCU, man. And I think this is it. Javier Mendez, thank you for the cheers. Okay, let me get into this, guys. I want to now take you through the experience of actually seeing the film. And no spoilers here, but I want to talk through my whole experience and just kind of take you through it. I think it'll be a useful way to maybe help explain why I like the movie. I can see there are still people in chat, and there are definitely people online that I've talked to and friends and stuff that still just don't get it. There's legitimately people out there that are like, I don't understand how you feel this way about this movie. And most of those people, either just really didn't like it or they think it's really whatever. Okay? But I don't. I love this movie. And there was a moment in the movie that I legitimately had the thought to myself, I think I'm loving this. And then I just kind of gave in to loving it. And then from that moment on, I continued to love it. And I think it's really good, especially as it builds, because I think Act 2 is really good. I think Act 3 is really, really good. I think it's good, okay? But I also have to be honest here. This did not go almost like any other movie I've ever seen. This was a very unique experience. So, number one, the thing I have to say, just to give you context, we were in D-box seats, okay? I didn't plan that shit. I don't know if y'all notice, I fly by the seat of my pants quite often. I did not realize that I had bought 4DX D-box seats for this movie. Okay? On top of that, this screen and the thing that we went into, this was maybe one of the nicest theaters I've ever been in. And if you've ever been in like an IMAX or a true, premium screen, there's this thing that'll happen where the way you sit here and the screen goes lower than you. And so you have the whole screen. It's a really cool experience. Premium screens I think are great for a reason. But this was it was kind of wild. Okay, so we get in there and we're a little late. You know what I mean? Just like stream, a little bit late. We roll in there, and it was there were 2 fucking gigantic sofas that we got to sit in, and the screen is just absolutely fucking amazing, dude. So I was already primed to be like, oh man, this is cool. This is cool. Yeah, I was. You're right. You're right, Zach. Yeah. And so anyway, we sit down and movie rolls, and it does this like no spoilers. It does some text on the screen that's explaining shit. And it uses the number 3 a lot. Slight spoilers there. And it's kind of a lot, I'll be honest, it's like an info dump. And then you get into some stuff, and I remember trying to kind of like ride with it. You could feel the rough edges very early on. There's a couple of cuts. There's one in particular where it just cuts to an establishing shot out of a conversation. It's like really jarring. And I just remember being like, oh man, that's not that great. But at the same time, there was enough going on that I connected to that I didn't hate it. Okay? And I legitimately had this feeling about 20 minutes in. I said this earlier, but this is true. This is just my experience of watching it. About 20 minutes, 25 minutes into the film, I'm like, man, everybody's wrong. I don't hate Lex. I don't hate Superman. I don't hate the humor. I don't even hate the plot and how it's building. There's stuff I like, but overall, it's just not that good. And I had this thought where I was like, man, I think people are being so crazy about this thing, and ultimately it would be a shame if none of the stuff I was worried about really bothered me, if all the hyperbole and conversation around it was like fake, but then ultimately it just wasn't that good. And there were some reviews out there that we went over yesterday that kind of indicated that, where people were saying like, it's just fine. You probably saw those reviews where people were saying like, it's just kind of fine. Okay. But the one thing throughout that first part of the film that kept me going was David. And I will say that maybe the best thing that James Gunn did throughout this whole lead up to this film, the creation, becoming president, all that, the best thing he ever did was cast David Corenswet as Superman. Now, you've probably heard a whole bunch of other people make this point, but I just want to emphasize how important that is. You'll probably notice that even some of the voices out there that are saying the movie's not great, they're probably all going to give David his flowers. Like, literally, find me somebody that doesn't think David was good in the role. He's not just good. He is the foundation of the entire thing. And it doesn't collapse because of his foundation. And then it's able to flourish and sort of bloom because of him as well. He's so good. It's crazy. I did not expect it. A lot of people are saying it and whatnot, and you get some of it in the trailers, but then, of course, there's the elements in the trailers and the teasers that were really worrisome. And you're like, man, he's yelling, there's the memes and this, that, second, and the third. You're a loser, like all that sort of stuff. Nah, man, he fucking nailed it in a way that's like kind of it's kind of crazy. So that was something that kind of I was able to connect with and sort of stick with it. And then the movie kind of finds itself, and there's a pulse to it. There's a beat to it. I think some people describe it as having pacing issues. I don't really think it has pacing issues. I think it actually builds quite nicely, but the beginning is pretty slow and jarring, and then it really does find its rhythm. It leans on the things that work, and frankly, the things that work are David as Superman, Lois, that relationship, the intimacy of uncovering Superman. Like, you're sort of presented, as much as the movie is immediately in perspective with David, and he's talking to the robots, this, that, second, and the third, doing this, all this sort of stuff. and it's not as though he doesn't have agency. You're kind of like in with him through that perspective. It builds, and then you uncover aspects of Clark as you go through the movie. And this all leads to a few really emotional moments. And I think because of just the earnest performance by David, these moments, and like it's done through I think there's a lot. I can't wait to see it again because I really want to like kind of like digest these separate scenes and what was going on. But it's kind of done through some of the other characters as well. You will probably hear some folks say that this is not so much a Superman movie because there's so many characters, so much is going on, the ensemble and all of that. I totally disagree. I think this is a Superman movie truly and through, because all of the other characters, including the Justice Gang, including all of the world leaders, including Lex Luthor, everybody is talking about Superman, perceiving Superman. Superman is the thread that brings them all together, and you learn more about Superman through these different perspectives. Like, for instance, there's a scene where Luthor is explaining to some powerful people, you know, why he doesn't think the Kryptonian is good and they have to take action, et cetera, et cetera. And through that scene, you learn not only how Luthor views the character, but how all these other people view the character. You get a sense of that through the Justice Gang when they have conversations about Superman. It's fascinating to see like how Guy Gardner actually talks about Superman, especially like even after some crazy things are revealed. You probably already know what I'm talking about, like if you know the leaks and everything like that. But I think it is really, truly all about Superman. It's a subtle thing, though, because sure, there's a lot going on, and you're literally seeing a lot of different characters and a lot of different sets and all these different things. But Superman's the through line. You know what I mean? And the investigation of that is the consistent conversation that the movie is having with you. And I thought that was great. And also, like, subtle. You know what I mean? Like, good and subtle. But so, as I'm watching the movie, man, it's like, man, I'm not really digging this. Then all of a sudden, I am kind of digging it. Then all of a sudden, like, I'm laughing at it. I'm loving Clark. And the juxtaposition of, like, all the other characters against Clark and his belief system and just his charm and his innocence was really, really cool. And it was really good. And this leads to, you know, some emotional beats. And, you know, I had asked you guys earlier if you thought that I, like the Grinch, had my heart grow 2.5 sizes. And I asked you guys if you thought I cried in the movie. Okay? And I did. I can't believe it. Like, there's some parts in the middle, and I connect so strongly to what was not like what was being messaged, but how it was being messaged. And it was in those moments where I was like, I think I love this. And yeah, and then at that moment I was like, yeah, I do. I love this. And then the thing that I think is really cool is, like, from that moment, I was truly like, it had been kind of a roller coaster ride. Didn't love the beginning. Starts to, you know, work for me, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm like, damn, like, I'm fucking love this. And then I think from there, the movie just does exactly what it needs to do. It's not crazy. It's not necessarily profound with anything that it does in its third act. But I think it appropriately just takes the conflict, dials it up, allows Clark to be Clark, allows him to be Superman, to save people, and to, more importantly, change other characters. Change the characters around him. He changes Lois by the end of the movie. You know? He changes Guy Gardner by the end of the movie. He changes Mr. Terrific by the end of the movie. He changes Metamorpho. It reminds me of Goku a little bit. Now, Goku, it's a different vibe because Goku is, he wants to fight, right? So, like, oftentimes Goku will win an enemy over because as opposed to showing up to be like, I'm going to defeat you, Goku shows up and he's like, you look really strong. You want to fight? You know what I mean? But Goku's sort of also like, I'm not going to let you hurt people and all that other stuff. And things happen. And then, Goku. By the way, this is something that Toriyama didn't actually intend. There's a mistranslation. I'm going to go on this whole fucking ramble now. But there was a mistranslation in the anime. And that whole speech on Namek when Goku turned Super Saiyan, that's actually not how Goku was originally intended. But then they kind of lean into it after that. And Goku has kind of become a superhero-esque, Superman-esque character. I felt like the way Clark was like Goku in this film was he's just consistently kind of a country bumpkin in a way that is at first easy to scoff at. And yet, as you peel the layers back, as you go through it, you can't help but feel that it's real. And the other characters have this. There's a moment where, like, Lois is having this, like, realization about Clark as she's, like, looking around. And I kind of had that moment, too, where I was like, damn, like, the performance is great. You're setting the character up to have these ideals. But there's still like, is this like real? Is this, some kind of an act? Will he slip into a different kind of a vibe? But the thing that's so crazy is like, you're just affirmed. Like you just become affirmed and reaffirmed in the character of Clark. And you're like, oh no, like this is him to a T. Like he is that sweet kid that like, yeah, maybe you would kind of clown on a little bit for being too kind, being too naive, for thinking that everybody and everything is beautiful and all that sort of stuff. It's really well done, you know? And so look, we'll linger on that a little bit more. We'll talk more about that in a second, but the reality is, from the moment that I loved it, it executes, it dials it up. The action's incredible. The spectacle is great. I thought Lex Luthor was fucking brilliant. I loved Lex Luthor in this movie. The ending feels cathartic. It feels right. There's a speech that's good. It's, like it wraps it up in kind of like a happy bow or whatever. And I'll say this, right? I don't think the movie is sophisticated. I don't think the movie is like profound in the sense that there's something that this movie is doing specifically that's like, oh my God, this one individual concept or how they took this thing from the comics and transferred it into live action is so novel, or like it's not pushing this genre forward because of its complexity. It's not pushing the genre forward because of the interpretation and how that's so unique and different. It's not pushing the genre forward because it's the most challenging story to the characters or for the audience or anything like that. The weird thing about Superman is that I think it's profound in its simplicity. I think it's profound because it's not trying to be any of those things. And I think it's profound because it does something that other comic book movies do not do. I was trying to kind of like unpack this last night when I was driving home. Because, legitimately, I don't think it's the best Superman movie. I don't think it's the best Gunn movie. And it's not a movie that, like, I have friends that are cinephiles and shit. And I went to film school. And so I've got some real sweaty film geek friends, right? And sometimes I'll see a movie or a project or there's something out there that I'm like, oh man, that's for the cinephiles. Like, bro, like, oh my God. Like the new, there's like a new cut of like Caligula that's coming out and some shit like that, that kind of stuff. This is not that at all. You know what I mean? But it has something about it that stands apart from a lot of these other movies. And it's something that I will probably reach back for more often than I reach back for some Marvel stuff, right? So, like, for instance, Marvel's got a crazy catalog. There's a lot of movies in the Marvel catalog that I'm like, yeah, it's good. And in fact, it's really good. But how often am I actually going to reach back to have the experience of watching that movie again? Like Shang-Chi is a good example of this. I love Shang-Chi. I think it's fucking incredible. I do not watch Shang-Chi. Like, is that making sense? Shang-Chi is great. I don't think I've watched it in years. Now there are Marvel movies that I think are like, dude, you gotta go back and revisit those, and those are really, really good. But Superman, this movie has something unique that does set it apart from other comic book films, and it is providing something that is different, and I think it's just like a good vibe, man. Like, do y'all remember those books called Chicken Noodle Soup for the Soul? I think is what they were called. This movie feels like it's offering up something just so different from what a lot of these other projects are offering up. And I think when people are saying this thing of like, it's like a comic book that comes to life, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's that people are recognizing this attribute of the film and they identify the Superman character as having that quality. And therefore, yes, we as comic book fans can recognize that quality and identify it as an attribute of Superman. And so, therefore, yes, it does feel like maybe one of the most accurate comic book films ever done, because it is accurately depicting an aspect of a character that is, number one, not that cool, but also like really hard to translate into live action, right? Like if you were to say, hey man, you know what the thing about Superman is? He's just like got a big heart. How do we get that across in a movie? Like, dude, there's so many different ways you could tackle that problem, address that. Superman's a weird movie because like parts of it aren't even that good. And yet it accomplishes that goal that, like, I don't know. I just don't know how. I can't personally think of a better example of nailing an iconic comic book character, nailing them in a way that's not obvious and very subtle and so damn good, So I did not expect this to happen. I did not expect to feel this way about it. And the truth is, credit to Gunn, credit to Gunn, because I think he pulled this off. And I think it's going to operate this way for a lot of folks. I would imagine this movie's going to really resonate with a lot of people. Hopefully it does well in the box office. If not, I think it'll have an incredible amount of success, digital and streaming and all of that. I think this is a great start for the DCU. And I'm excited to see more. Now, I will say, this is a Batman Begins, and I am hoping there's a Dark Knight, because this is completely serviceable as an entry point, it is completely serviceable as a character study of Clark. It's like the Iron Man 1, where it's like, yeah, like we get Tony, we kind of understand him operating in this world and all that sort of stuff. But you need more. You need more. You need to challenge him in different ways. Luthor needs to grow and develop. The whole entire world needs to grow and develop. Clark needs to grow and develop. It was crazy because as I was driving home, I kept thinking, I really love David as Superman. I hope this movie is successful because I want to see him 10 years down the line. I mean, Downey got 10 years, maybe 10 plus years with Iron Man, and was able to, like, especially towards the end of that run, tap into things that were like, they were elevated. They elevated the genre. You know what I mean? And I would just love to see what will Lobo, fuck you, chat. What will David's Superman be like in 5 years, 10 years? What will he be like if the Black Lanterns rise? You know what I mean? What will he be like if a crisis happens, if Superboy Prime happens, you know? What will he be like if Mageddon is flying towards Earth, sending everybody's reptilian brains into overdrive, you know? What will this Superman be like after he's lost some soldiers? You know? This is a really good movie. It's a really cool entry into the universe. Maybe even partially because all of those questions and all of those further storylines and things that we know from DC Comics and whatnot. It'll be interesting to see how these characters deal with that. I'm really excited to see Holtz Luthor continue on. You know, some of my favorite stuff. I loved Forever Evil. Y'all ever see that one or read that book, Forever Evil? I think that's what it was called, where basically Luthor kind of flips and becomes a hero by the end of it. And then he has a run in the Justice League where the Mother Box becomes the suit. That stuff's great. That book sucked. No, it did not. That book's fucking incredible, dude. I think it's like a very solid Jeff Johns story, man. That story is incredible. So I'm interested to see how all of these different really wild DC things would happen in this universe to this Superman. That's cool. That's exciting. Okay. Let's open it up for a little bit more Q&A. And then we'll talk about, there's some Fantastic Four stuff I want to talk about. Yeah, that's probably all I want to say for now. I will do a spoiler review. Like, we'll do a spoiler review soon. I kind of want to see it again. Josh, new F4 behind the scenes video is out. Cool. We'll talk about it in a second. Okay, let's go over some of these questions here. Ethan says, Superman back, F4 gonna be back. There's Shope. What the hell is Shope, man? What the hell is Shope? Rossi says, how did the suit look, and was the suit a distraction? No, the suit looked great. The suit looked great. There were a couple of like kind of gratuitous shots where like he like slows down and goes past the like logo and shit, like the actual Superman symbol on David's chest, and they felt a little indulgent, you know. But other than that, no, it was good. It was good. Ryan says, Superman reminded me of Bruce Faulkner's Goku. Yeah, man. Movie was Dragon Ball Z inspired. Yep, I think you're right. And also, dude, this movie has anime vibes, bro. I wonder how many people are going to point this out. This movie had anime vibes, bro. And like a little bit of Dragon Ball, but also like we've talked a little bit about how shonen and some of the sensibilities from the way Japanese writers tackle these types of characters and stories, how that seems to be really resonating with people in the West a lot more than your usual scheduled Hollywood stuff. I think this movie felt very anime. And I thought that was cool. I think it did a service to me. But not everything worked for me. Like, there were some characters. Like, there's one thing I'm thinking of in particular that, like, this is supposed to be working, and it doesn't. But everything else was, like, working around it, so it didn't really bother me. But, yeah, it was good. Chadwick Myers says, with how bright and innocent and honest he is, are you officially in on Pattinson being the perfect equal opposite, or not really? Oh, yeah, I think it would be great. That's a complicated one, right? Because you'd have to do some shenanigans. I think the best way to do it is to make the Matt Reeves current stuff that he's doing, so Batman Part 1, Batman Part 2, and maybe even Penguin, set that like 10 years ago, before Superman, okay? So that allows you to have Pattinson develop, change, maybe partially visually adapt into the aesthetic of Superman as well. That's what I would do. Philip Hatch says, even though I'm somewhat sad that you liked it, I'm proud of you for sticking to honesty, especially with how easy it'd be for you to hate on the movie. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It actually would not be... I mean, I understand what you're saying, but... And look, some of y'all are just not going to believe this, but... I can't lie about this shit. Sometimes I wish I could, mostly over the past couple of years when I've absolutely fucking hated Marvel projects. It would have been better for me, my content, my views, if I came out here and, like, acted like I liked it. You know, I think I get somewhat unfairly put into the bucket of people that, like, even yesterday I was watching, because, you know, I had a couple tweets go viral or whatever, and I was watching some comments on the tweets. And there were people like, he loved Love and Thunder, so that's all you need to know. And I'm like, do people understand how much shit I got, how many subscribers I lost when I came out super hard against Love and Thunder? Like, they have zero context. They just think I'm like everybody else. Like, no, I've actually become somewhat of the black sheep within the positive Marvel content creators. Some of these people won't even talk to me anymore, because I went so hard on some of these Marvel things. And it's like, sometimes I wish I could curtail it a bit. But, bro, I calls it's like I sees it. And if it hits me in a certain way, I genuinely, if there was... Like, Superman could have went a different way for me. I didn't even like the first 20 minutes, right? But it got me. It won me over, and it honestly did. And after that point, it was in. And that's just what happened. It's actually would not be easy for me to lie. You know what I mean? Like, if I loved the movie, but I wanted to shit on it, that would be hard for me. Especially in a live setting, dude. Like, when you're live, like, it's just way harder to, like, bullshit and then just, like, keep that going. Like, yeah. Forever Evil. So long, IRL. Yeah, it was good. I like that series. Late to the stream, what did you think of the action? The action is great, man. The action is incredible. One thing that people were right about is Mr. Terrific, dude. Mr. Terrific is so fucking good in this movie. Wow. And Gunn deserves a lot of credit for that, man. A lot of credit for that. Mr. Terrific, really cool character from comics. Hard to imagine a lot of people that aren't comic book people would, like, walk into a boardroom meeting and be like, we need Mr. Terrific, you know? I don't want to answer any specific questions about the plot, Ricky, but, yeah. How is Hawk Girl? I don't like the casting. She's pretty unremarkable in the movie, if I'm being honest. And there's a couple of moments with her where I'm just like, okay. You know? Like, I'll be honest with you. Hawk Girl, not... Hawk Girl's fine. Hawk Girl's fine. Yeah, she's barely in it though. Yeah. Better than Man of Steel. So I've talked about this already, but let me just give you the full take. Okay, let me give you the full take. Man, there's so many ways I could say this. I think you're going to be butthurt by what I have to say. Okay? I think you're going to be butthurt about what I have to say. I think James Gunn's Superman is a more important movie than Man of Steel. Okay, that's gonna do it for us today. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. Much love, as I always say. I hope you have an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. What does that even mean? Says Ronnie. All right, let me try to explain it. Let me try to break it down. And seriously, some of you are not going to like this. You know what I mean? This is like one of those Senate hearings where you're all like, it's a yes or no answer, Senator. And I'm like, my answer is that I think Man of Steel, although perhaps better catered to my personal sensibilities, is a less important movie than Superman. It's a yes or no answer, Senator. The thing about it is that blah, blah, blah. Shalomi Lena with a 10 spot says, can you, in a non-spoiler review, go into the post-credit scenes? I heard you see Hal fighting Brainiac. Is that true? And how is Supergirl? Wait, what? Nah, man, that shit ain't in there. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about spoilers, okay? But I will say, if you want to know spoilers, just watch the spoiler video we did like last week. It's like 100% accurate. Actually, there's one thing it gets slightly wrong, but yeah. Okay, let me try to break this down. The Man of Steel comparison, okay? This James Gunn Superman movie is not it wouldn't be the movie I make, okay, and it wouldn't be the movie that, if you were asking me in just like a clean slate sort of version, how would you want to see Superman portrayed? That's not the way I would do it. That's not the way I would want it to be done. And I am much more of a Zack Snyder guy, okay? And not just because of, like, Zack's sensibilities. I think Zack does beautiful scenes, man. I think he's a master of the visual medium of cinema and how that can be so striking. I think Zack is so on point. I think Man of Steel is still a masterpiece. And for a person like me that loves things like philosophy and loves things like existentialism and loves things like myth and the recontextualization of ancient myth, all that sort of stuff, hero's journey, Joseph Campbell type shit. I am a person that will always lean more in that direction. And so, therefore, if you're just asking me, I'll tell you I still would deadass prefer Zack Snyder's vision for DC. That is my preferred vision. I don't even love everything in it. Same thing with Gunn, Superman, and all that, right? But, yeah, no, I mean, do I like Man of Steel more than the Superman movie? Yes. Yes, I do. I will say that. I like Man of Steel more, personally. But I think this movie, James Gunn's Superman, is a more important movie. And I also think Gunn's Superman is doing something that Zack was not doing. And I think that the way that Gunn accomplished this, to me, I was sort of shocked by. And I'll tell you this, I'm not going to drag my dad to see Man of Steel. Not going to do it. but I would like to go see James Gunn's Superman with my dad. So I think Gunn's Superman is providing something different. And I think it's more important. And I am on board. And I hope it succeeds. And I hope we get more of this. In the same way that a lot of Gunn, or rather, in the same way that a lot of people were mad about Snyder. And the caveat was always that Snyder's going to take them in that direction. Like, Snyder was kind of like deconstructing, and then he was trying to take them to the heroic, mythic place, right? So he's trying to do that in sort of a postmodern way, frankly. In that same way that I think the criticisms of him were a bit too harsh, a bit too early, and they missed the scope of what he was trying to do. I think a lot of people that are saying this Superman movie's too simple, too like normal or whatever, like not mythic enough and all that sort of stuff. I think you're missing what Gunn might be trying to do. I'm more excited for the Supergirl movie. I'm more excited to see the next one. This movie does stick out, and I think it'll always hold a special place for me. I want to see it again in theaters. I'm excited to see it again. But it's a complicated answer. I think the Snyder fans just want me to say Zack's better, and Zack's vision would have been better. What I can say is that I am a fan that I think is primed to appreciate Zack's stuff more. And yet, I really like James Gunn's Superman. And I think it does something that Zack either cannot do, which I don't really believe, but it's more the case that Zack was not trying to do this. Not in the way that Gunn was, right? And I also think it's just fucking cool that we have a character... Like, dude, look, can we just be real about this? Do you motherfuckers realize how much I must like this movie to be speaking the goddamn way that I am today? Do you motherfucker, are we really gonna act like I'm not the same motherfucker that on Monday was saying what I was saying? Are we really going to act like I wasn't the guy that, like, can we... I feel like there's not... I feel like you're not appreciating the context. Yes, but I'm not a motherfucker, though. Okay, sorry. We can't all be Superman. Yes, that's why your review has me the most excited. Oh, that's good. You're a Marvel fan. That's true. I am. Easy, Josh. Okay. This is unlike Josh. He did, in fact, trash Brave New World. Oh, it was... Yeah, I mean, that was pretty easy, though. Josh, are you going to dye your hair? No. Will you give Peacemaker Season 2 a chance? Hell no. Angry Joe is a Superman mega fan and didn't like it. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, we're going to see how, I guess, the wider audience feels about it. And we'll see if that translates into box office or whatever, man. But, yeah, I mean, all I can do is just speak to how I feel about it. I love it, man. I love the fucking movie. And also, why aren't there more posters or, like, some T-shirts with, like, the actual Superman word? Like, the way he had Superman against the black with the vibrant color around it and, like, kind of, like, dude, that shit's cool. Nostalgic, kind of fun, very 80s. Yeah, I liked it. Joe said it was decent, but not the right tempo. Dan Merle said it was meh. Man, what I think is going on and why it worked for me is, you know, the movie, it's almost like meta, dude. It's almost like the movie itself is Clark Kent. Like this unassuming, innocent, misunderstood, high expectations. Like, guys, I want to root for this thing, man. Like, I want to root for this thing. How is Lex Luthor? the best he's ever been. This was a perfect Lex Luthor. And I'm really excited to see where they go with Lex, frankly, because I think Lex has some development to be had as well. John Johnston says, Josh's Senate hearing chat says, did you say on record that Superman is more important than Man of Steel? Josh, I don't recall. Exactly. Rossi says, Dark Knight is still the best comic book movie of all time. Best comic book movie of all time. Yeah, it's a tough one. Sky Guy Production says, so hype, been watching Smallville to get ready. I actually think that's a good one that'll prime you for this, believe it or not. I think that's a show that will prime you for the vibes. Shalomi Leaner says, you think you will give the 500 and also was Supergirl in it? Jesus Christ, dude. What part of no spoilers? Like, you're really trying, huh? You're really trying. What else can I say besides, like, if you want to know the spoilers, what I'll confirm for you now is that everything we talked about for the spoilers is in it. We got it. We nailed it. 100%. In fact, I don't think we've ever gotten it more accurate. The stuff we went over last week, every part of that was real. But as I said, you got to see how it hits you. You just never know until you see how it hits you. So stop trying to ask me shit right now. God damn. They used Jimmy more than Hawkgirl. That's really annoying. Jimmy was great, though, dude. I thought Jimmy was great. Yeah, I really liked it, man. You know, that's what it is. C Black says Thunderbolts might end up having the highest comic book RT score for 2025. It will be appreciated after Doomsday. I think you're right about that. I think you are correct about that. They want to know the spoilers. I suggest seeing the movie is the best place for spoilers. Yeah, that's true. That's true. How did Elisa like it? She loved it. Yeah, she loved it. Do you think that the beginning text confirmed the big bad for the DCU? I think it confirmed some stuff, yeah. Did you see the Real Rejects getting blasted on social media for being called chills and going at Superman and Koi? I feel bad. I didn't really see that, to be honest with you, but I mean, yeah, it's a part of the game. It's part of the game. It is amusing to see all the Snyder bots you emboldened that are big mad at you today. They are. I'm not gonna lie. I've had a couple conversations with some Snyder folks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, I just have to be honest. I loved it. Thought it was great. Can't wait to see it again, man. To be honest. Yeah, I'm done with this James Gunn glaze. I'm sorry. Hey, sorry. Sorry. Look, maybe he'll fuck the next one up, and then I'll be like, I told you it was the wrong pick for this. Hey, RJ, what's up, man? I can't believe Josh sold his soul to James Gunn. I know. Can you believe it? Crazy. Better than The Flash? I've actually never seen The Flash. I highly doubt I ever will. But, yeah. I've been called a Snyder fan just because I said the trailers showed too much and didn't seem focused on Superman. I hadn't seen the movie yet, though. Yeah. There'll be some of that, man. The internet's a crazy place, man. People aren't always the most kind on here. You know? But that's a part of the game, too. That's a part of the game, too. Josh, don't worry. I'll never watch Morbius. Yeah. We did watch it. Grace, notorious Gunn hater, said it's the best Superman movie to date. Yeah, I don't actually agree with that, but I do think it's the most important Superman movie to date. But like, to say it is the best, that's like a subjective thing, right? So she's not really a Superman fan, from what I understand. Should I just watch Invincible instead? Man, there's some Invincible vibes in this movie. I think if you like Invincible, you might like James Gunn's Superman. Imagine if Superman and FF are great. That would be awesome. Oh, yeah. And let me just say this, too. So, look, as I sort of said, right? Like, I'm more of like, I like it to be a little bit more serious. I love subtext. I like mythology. You know, I like a little bit of deconstruction, but not like too much. So you know, if you're asking me, do I think I'll enjoy Fantastic Four more? I still think I will enjoy Fantastic Four more than this movie. Fantastic Four feels like almost the perfect comic book movie for me specifically. And I think I will love that movie. And I hope I love Fantastic Four so much that, like, I want to see it over and over again. But it's just different. Like, I am not going to go tell my dad, regardless of the quality of Fantastic Four, I'm not going to go tell my dad, we should go see Fantastic Four together. Like, do you understand the difference? Superman's a movie that's like, man, this feels like a feel-good movie with throwback traditional family values in a way that I love, in a way that I think my dad would love, and in a way that I would like to go experience with my pops. You know what I mean? But that's a totally different thing than like, hey, if it's just me and I want to see what I want to see, I still think Fantastic Four is more in line with my personal taste. Superman kind of shocked me. And I'm shocked at how much I enjoyed it. And I really love it. I think it's, you know, I hope I've done a good job of trying to communicate how I view the movie, and hopefully that at least will give you some context within this sea of other folks that are speaking about the film and giving their opinions. And then you can calibrate your own expectations, and maybe if you want to see it or give it a shot or whatever, right? And that's just how it goes. But I try to do my best today to, like, cut through some of the BS and just give you some real ass shit. Because again, like, I think Gunn surprised me. I think he understood the assignment. Number two, I think a lot of people are just wrong about stuff they're bringing up for the film. And I ultimately just wanted to say that in spite of itself, the movie won me over. David is so good, and he is so Superman, that the core of that holds the movie together and allows a foundation that does get built upon. And I do think it gets better and better. And I think the third act is really fun and really cool. So, saw a few people say related to Raimi's Spider-Man movies. I think I understand that vibe. Yeah, I think I understand that vibe a little bit more now. Yeah. You low-key loved Peacemaker? No, I did not. And I can't with that shit. But that's like the thing. It's like, so whether it was just Gunn or maybe it was Warner Brothers, whoever, like, we don't really know exactly what happened, but whatever force and whatever concessions were made to take Superman to where it is now, because you can see in the trailers versions that are way more silly and goofy, like, you're a loser, and then Superman, like, screaming and shit and seeming to blow up out of nowhere. I'm telling you right now, the actual film is not like that. It is so much better. It is so much more pulled back. I have never seen Gunn this restrained. And I just appreciate it. So I just want to put that out there and say it and say that I appreciate it. I say that I think that was the appropriate call. But, like, Peacemaker is the opposite of that. Peacemaker is like Gunn unleashed. And for me, that's just no thanks. Drew says, how did you like Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner? This was another thing in the movie that absolutely surprised me. Totally fucking shocked me. And another example of the marketing being horseshit for this movie. Oh my God. The way they've been marketing Guy Gardner has been fucking awful. Guy Gardner's fucking legit in this movie. He's legit. He's hilarious. He's awesome. He pulls scenes together. He has good, cool moments. Bro, there's a moment where he starts talking about, I can't really get into it. I can't really get into the spoilers, but there's a couple of moments where I'm like, damn, this feels like some real ass DC shit. Guy Gardner's incredible in the movie. I can't fucking believe it. I can't fucking believe it. The reviews hate Guy? Maybe. Maybe. All I can tell you is he's great. Mr. Terrific is amazing. Mr. Terrific was a triumph. Mr. Terrific was so fucking cool. I can't wait to see more people wearing Mr. Terrific shirts, buying Mr. Terrific jackets. Holy shit, Mr. Terrific, man. Holy shit, Mr. Terrific was fucking cool, dude. I mean, Josh, you can't expect that much from Superman. It's just the movie that will start it all. Unlike F4, that's going to be very important to the MCU. Yeah. You have a point. Oh, really? Wow. I'll have to look that up. Maybe I'll get a Kith Superman shirt. Yeah. I need Batman laying out Guy in the future. That would be sick, dude. Yeah, that would be super cool. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. So I am probably going to get out of here soon. Let me think if I can find the Fantastic Four thing, because I kind of want to work on some vids. And then we'll do a stream tonight at 7:30. Yeah. Maybe we just save the Fantastic Four stuff for tomorrow, huh? Dun, 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 dun. Dang, dude. So there's a new trailer for Fantastic Four. Can somebody link it to me? And we'll go over that. This movie is really tearing our community apart. What? How so? It's okay if you guys don't like it. It's tearing our community apart. How? Are people just being really rude about it? Look, can I just say one thing about this and the fighting and everything, guys? Why fight about Superman? Really and truly, okay? You know, why spend a lot of time and energy fighting about Superman when Warhammer's right around the corner, baby? Warhammer's right around the corner. Guys, my grav tank is almost here. I just got those Primaris boomy shooty guys. I've been working on videos, man. Like, dude, guys, don't worry. Okay? The next big thing is Warhammer. And I'm making some fire ass content. So don't be mad. Don't be mad. Okay, let's watch this little trailer here, huh? We got ourselves a little trailer here, huh? Let me see. Check this shit out.
And that behind the scenes.
There was just so much care and love that was put into this family. Our hope is for that to translate into the movie. Casting really is a gamble.
Yeah.
Who knows if we were going to get along? I knew we were going to get along.
Please welcome the Fantastic Four.
We're very lucky that we had that unique experience of being as connected to each other as the characters are.
I don't think chemistry is something that you can force.
Yeah, true.
I adore Vanessa like a sister. Pedro, I'm going to work with him for the rest of my life. Oh. Evan and I are constantly trying to rile each other up, make each other laugh.
What time is it, Ben?
No, Johnny.
Say it!
I don't want to. All four of us wanted to bring as much humanity to it as we possibly could. You just find these little things that help tell the story.
We will defeat this together. as a family.
We really mined all of the nuances, all of the intricacies of these very, very human relationships.
Cool.
I think we'll be family forever.
Man, that shit's gonna hit. I think I'm really excited for the Fantastic Four. I think it looks great, dude. That scene that they did with the surfer coming down, and the surfer is telling them like, say the shit you're afraid to say, because y'all about to die, bro. I thought that shit was awesome. Yeah. What's the name of the Warhammer channel? Want to find the lore video? It's called Warhammer Explained. Look it up. Look it up. You guys want to see a little tease of one of the other vids? Actually, I don't even know if I can show this. Let me see. No fucking way. No fucking way. That can't be real. That doesn't look real. Hang on now. Full ass leak Galactus on a throne. I don't. It looks too good to be true. It looks too good to be true, guys. Hang on. Let's check. Let's check with some sources. That's fucking crazy. Hang on now. I would hate to share this and it not be real. Hang on. Copy. We'll see. See if we can get a confirmation. That's crazy. Okay. Wow, wee wah. Yeah, I'm quite excited for Fantastic Four, man. Still, I think it might end up being in my top 5 overall, man. For the genre. Van of the Black says, not gonna lie, first F4 movie where they actually feel like a family. Yeah, that alone is making me hyped for it. Thunderbolts feel in an epic film. Let's fucking go. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Like the same vibes, but in a higher, bigger thing. Absolutely. 100%. If Galactus had 8 fingers, it's fake. True. Galactus. What, the big jugs on that K-pop star? Those were all over the place, yeah. Man, those things were marketed much better than Superman, to be honest. Whoa. Oh my gosh. The K-pop star with the huge natural wreck is haunting my feet. I can't escape her, says Louis Spears. I was going to ask about that, but I guess it's not just me. That's good to know. Hey, Special Ed! Thanks for the 5 gifted, Special Ed. We love you over here, even though you're special. Even though you're special. All right, let's save the Fantastic Four stuff for tomorrow. When should I do spoilers? I guess I could turn around and do a spoiler review video for you guys. Maybe I could do that. And then we'll probably have to talk spoilers on Monday or whatever. Friday night stream? I'm trying to play Warhammer. Do you think this is Gunn's best film? No, I don't think this is Gunn's best film. But it's the most important assignment of his life. It's the most important moment of his career. And he met the moment. He made the movie that he needed to make for this moment. And I give him a lot of credit for that. I give him a lot of credit for that. Watch Transformers 1 with your son. It's on Prime Video. Okay, maybe. Okay, maybe I will. All right, so let me ask a question here. serious question here too. Don't answer it. Don't put a 1 into the chat unless you honestly feel this way. How many of you, are there any of you out there that were not going to see Superman this weekend? I didn't even finish it. Get the ones out of it. Are there any of you out there that were not going to see this movie that are now considering checking it out? Just out of curiosity. Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? Oh, Ross says yes. Interesting. Only against my will. Oh, okay. Is it consensually against your will? Is it like one of those consensual, non-consensual things? Is that what we're talking about here? Nick says yes. Duncan. Okay, interesting. One truthful. Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah, it seems like there's some people that are. I'm so curious, man. We're gonna have a whole nother conversation about how this movie performs. It's weird because now I'm on the other side of it. I love the movie. I want it to succeed. And to be honest with you, I'm also kind of looking at, I mean, you know, I have some criticism for Gunn, believe it or not. Still, because I think he kind of, man, I really wish he would have just gotten out of the way and let this thing speak for itself. I think he has shut down. I mean, I think he just fucked up the transition. He fucked up the transition. And I think, unfortunately, there might be a whole bunch of people that aren't going to give it a chance now. I think the marketing around the thing has been fucking terrible. I used to think it was good. Now that I've seen the movie, I'm like, dude, they fucked it up. This movie might only make like $500 million. And that's not the movie's fault. The movie's really good, bro. Damn. They could have marketed better for sure. Yeah, I think so. Josh, could you feel the last minute new editing and score? You could feel it a little. Yeah, you could feel it a little. You could feel it, especially in the first third. There was a couple transitions at the beginning where I was like, damn. But David is so fucking good. He's so Superman that it carries you through. You know? I'm really curious your thoughts on the pictures with Jimmy. I see no issue with it. I don't want to answer anything specific like that, but I'll say this. Every single thing I was concerned about from the leaks was handled way better than I thought it was going to be. Every single thing that I was worried about from the leaks was handled way better than I thought it was going to be. And that's good. Yeah, buddy. That's when I cried, actually. Yeah. We told you that, LOL, you be tripping. What? In FF, do you see them failing to save everyone, if anyone? No. No, I don't think so. Fantastic Four box office just dropped the tracking? Really? Can you link me? Can you send me a link? I still don't fully believe this, but this might be real. Should we look at the Galactus thing? He's just trying to rush off here, bro. No, I'm not. Although, should check to see when Elisa has an appointment today. Let me see here. All right, you guys want to see this? It does look fake, but it might be real. Looks a little fake. Looks a little too good to be true. Yeah, it does look a bit too shiny, right? Yeah, I don't know. I tell you though, I definitely want this in the movie. Like, I would love to see him on the throne. To have a big scene like this where maybe they come before him or something would be sick. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little thrown by that. I hope it's dope. I hope that's real and it looks better. But like, I just don't know about that, man. I just don't know about it. Thanos full frontal reveal scene. Oh, can't wait, dude. It's gonna be crazy. The face is not real. Oiled up straight out of a Diddy party. Yeah, Galactus. Jesus. Click-Clack says, is it okay for kids? Yeah, it's great for kids, man. Anytime, even mildly sexual, spelled that way. My 11-year-old sister loves Superman, and I'd love to take her tomorrow. I think you're good. You might have to. There's like one word that you might have to like explain or avoid. But other than that, I think you're good, man. I think it's good for kids. Yep. Thoughts on Marvel vs. Capcom? I love Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm kind of excited for this new one that the Arc Systems dudes made. It's not, Capcom, but yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom's incredible. I have the collection, and yeah, I hope they make another one, man. Yeah, Tokon's gonna be cool. Does this Superman movie feel like it's setting up more good stuff? Yeah, I think so. It doesn't feel like it's making a big effort to set up a lot of future stuff. I think that there is some setup for Supergirl, and it's appropriate. It's good. It doesn't have like an overarching, like, oh my God, Thanos at the end of Avengers kind of a thing. Nothing like that. But to me, there's like I found myself asking a lot of questions about this and being like, so wait a minute. Who were the metahumans that first showed up? What was the thing that happened 3,000 years ago? Like, I have questions, and knowing what I know about DC, it's kind of fun to try to piece some of those characters or events into the world. So I think it really does feel like a lived-in world. And that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Are the mid/post-credit scenes cool? They're okay. They're okay. I think they're more like a last-minute chance to go back into the world of the film than they are set up. But I also love the movie, so I was happy to have those moments. Have I watched Creature Commandos? Hell no. Hell no. I ain't watching that shit. Did you end up liking Crypto at the end of the movie? Yes. Yes, I did. Mm-hmm. Any more F4 stuff? You mentioned something before the new video earlier. I mean, we'll probably do like a leak breakdown soon. Maybe we'll do a breakdown of the Hickman comics. We'll make a lot of content around F4. I'm excited for the movie, but yep. Hey, look, some of y'all like Creature Commandos. That's cool. Like, you guys just like Gunn stuff more than me, and that's all good. I'm just not. I don't really fuck with his stuff like that, Hey, Chapter Master Valrak. Hey, look, I said I wasn't gonna do spoilers here, but nah. There is a part though where I deadass was expecting Batman to pop out, and I am still a little confused by that scene, but nah. Nah. Yeah. I can't really explain it without getting into spoilers. But there's a track in the score that sounds weirdly like the Batman theme. And when it plays in the movie, like, it's pretty recognizable. But, yeah, I don't know what that is, actually. I don't know what they were doing there. Mm-hmm. We have entered a bizarro dimension where Josh is up on the movie and Angry Joe is down on the movie while in costume. That is kind of ironic, right? I think Joe has been a little more positive in the lead up to it. Joe was very critical of some of the stuff I was critical about too, though, like the first look and, you know, some of the stuff in the trailers. But, yeah, I mean, I guess for Joe, it just didn't work. Maybe we could watch some reviews tomorrow and I can kind of, you know, give my thoughts on them or whatever. But what is your score 1 to 10 for Superman? I'd really like to see it again. I would say if you're just judging it off of the merits of it being a film, I would say it's probably an 8. But I will say that I personally would probably score it higher, something like a 9. Because I think it's doing something difficult. Like, I just really want to give him credit because I think it would have been easy for him to fuck this up, frankly. And I think he might have truly collaborated, maybe bent a little bit, kind of saw things from a different perspective because he dialed it back. And I think it's appropriately dialed back. It's messy, but when it gets going, it doesn't let you go. Its core elements are so strong. And I think ultimately what it accomplishes as far as making you feel for Superman, and this version of Superman, I just got to give it a lot of credit for accomplishing what I did not think it would be able to do. So, you think Superman is making 200 by the weekend? Yeah, I mean, I think it'll do 200 milli worldwide over the weekend, which is great. Like, that's not bad. It's just like, is that really what it needs to do to be a very successful movie? I'm not so sure about. Man, everybody's like just trying to get me to do spoilers. Jeez. Why do people need reviews? Go watch it if you like DC. I actually think, I would push back against that a little bit because I actually think reviews and watching a lot of reviews over the past couple of days actually set me up to have a very good time with this film. I actually think I had sort of, for the first time in a long time, properly calibrated my expectations. And I was actually able to enjoy the movie more because of that. And by the way, I'm going into Fantastic Four with higher expectations. Like, that shit's got to be better. But that's because we're in a different place. This is the first one. You know, this is a start. This is a entry. Will it surpass F4? I highly doubt it. If it does, it's more the case that Fantastic Four really underperformed, which is possible technically, but I guess we'll see. By the way, somebody said that there's long-range Fantastic Four box office right now. Is that real or is that just somebody trolling? I don't see anything. Philip Hatch says, just bought tickets for Cool Bear and I see Superman this Saturday. Nice, man. Hell yeah. But this movie's destroying our community. This movie's tearing our community apart. I think you guys will be okay. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here soon. Any last-minute questions, comments, concerns? What else is on your mind? I'm going to get out of here in like 5-10 minutes, man. I'm going to get out of here. We'll have a good stream tomorrow, too. Oh, nice, dude. Taking up a whole row. That's cool. Let's pivot into a 20-minute convo about drop pods becoming Battleline and why you're adding 6 to your list. I'm actually probably not going to use the drop pods because I run very elite armies. Most of my squads and units have deep strike, so I don't really need that. Yeah, I mean, I think the drop pods are cool. I think the drop pods are cool. Thoughts on the new Rivals season? Haven't actually played any of the new Rivals season. Did Jean drop yet? When did she come out? Did the cameo of you-know-who make you excited for the future? I was pumped. Yes. Yes, I'm quite excited for the future. Yep. I was joking, but hey, let's do it. Jean on Friday? Ooh, let's go. Let's go. Thanks for the spoiler. What? What spoiler? I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing. Hey, man. Good job, Mr. Gunn, on creating the movie. I think it's really good. I hope a lot of people give it a chance. And also, potentially, bad job. Bad job for marketing the movie and doing up all that shit. We'll see. We literally had a spoiler stream going over everything. Yeah, we did. I know. Did the flying look better than in the trailer? The flying looked great, dude. The flying looked really good. There's 2 moments that I was like, holy shit, this is peak. And one of them was like where Clark's kind of angry and he's trying to get somewhere fast. And I was like, dude, holy shit. Check the tracking. What tracking, brother? I did not find any Fantastic Four tracking. If there is some out there, I would love to know about it. But I'm not seeing anything legit. I'm not seeing anything legitimate. Deadline. Okay. Deadline. I'll look. Jeez. Jeez, guys, you guys. I don't see this shit. Where? I don't see no Fantastic Four shit. What are you talking about? Hey, what are you talking about? How's the fitness journey? Good. I've slacked a little bit in the past couple of weeks. Still feel strong, still feel good, but I need to kind of push it a little more. So if I do Deadline Fantastic Four, maybe? I don't know what you guys are talking about, man. Kevin Feige confirmed. Blah, blah, blah. I see 20 hours ago they're talking about the DC numbers. Is that what you're referring to? Yeah, I don't see what you're talking about there, bud. Unless you're actually talking about the box office projections for Superman, we can go over those a little bit more tomorrow. If you want. According to the box office theory, Superman is early tracking 140. No, that's not accurate. Yeah, unfortunately, those are not... You can't really make that comparison, dude. I understand what you're trying to do there. They're just wildly different outlets. Marvel has a huge fan base. I don't know how Thunderbolts failed. I think that within a Marvel fan base, like you look at the last 5 Marvel movies, okay? I think this is actually a good point. The last 5 Marvel movies, you have 3 that do very badly. Actually, let's do the last 6 Marvel movies. You have Thunderbolts does pretty badly. You have Brave New World does pretty badly. You have Quantumania, or rather, the Marvels, right? Deadpool Wolverine, which does really well. And then Fantastic Four could do really well. And then if you go the year before that, you have Deadpool is the only movie last year, and it was good. Then the year before that, you had the Marvels. Then you had Guardians 3, which does really well. Then you had Quantumania. So it's kind of like Quantumania bombs. Guardians of the Galaxy does well. It underperformed its first weekend, though, and then had good word of mouth. Then the Marvels bombs incredibly badly. Then you go into Deadpool Wolverine. It does really well. Then you go into Brave New World. It does terrible. Thunderbolts does terrible. So you can almost see a pattern between, like, it seems like they have a couple of misses and then boom, they'll nail one. A couple of misses and then they'll nail one. So I think the audience is kind of trained for that too. So like a lot of Marvel fans are like, oh, basically I think Marvel fans are deciding, is this one of the ones that's actually going to be good, or is this one that I can wait for streaming or skip? Right? I think that's what happened with Thunderbolts, where basically like a ton of people have said, they just didn't need to see it in theaters, or maybe not at all. Which is a shame, because I'll tell you this. I think Thunderbolts is actually a better movie than Superman. But I think Superman is, again, more important and had a more difficult task. And I love Superman, right? But I think Thunderbolts is fucking legit, dude. It's kind of a shame that it didn't do better. It's incredible. But then the question is like, okay, Fantastic Four. Well, what are we looking at here? It would appear that it's operating at a much higher interest level than the other two. So it seems like that same Marvel audience is probably like, yeah, Fantastic Four is one of the ones we got to go check out. Fantastic Four is one of the ones we want to support. So I think Fantastic Four is going to do pretty well. But, yeah, we'll see. Also, what's up, Rob? Good to see you, brother. I think Thunderbolts is better, but Superman is more entertaining and comic booky. Both really good. Yeah, both are very good. Thunderbolts is just like, I try to tell you this, but like Thunderbolts is really, really good. Like Thunderbolts is crispy. Thunderbolts really surprised me, you know? But then again, how often am I going to reach for Thunderbolts? Even though I think it's higher up in the catalog and, you know, maybe it would be in rotation, Superman still gets put on a special place in the shelf. Superman gets put on a place in the shelf where it's like, we'll revisit soon. Does that make sense? Yeah. If you think if Dustin knocks out Max, the UFC will give Dustin a title shot versus Ilya, I highly doubt it. Do we even want that? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Kenobi is a masterpiece compared to Superman. All right, now you're just wilding. Now you're just wilding out, okay? All right, everybody. I'm going to get on out of here. Hey, I really appreciate it. I tried to do a good job today. I was super sweaty at first, really hot. So sorry about that. Yeah, I tried to just be honest and explain how I felt about it. High recommend. Love the movie. Was shocked at how much I loved it. And I'm going to go work on some content. I'm going to go work on some videos about Superman and some other stuff, like some Fantastic Four stuff as well. And I'll see you guys later tonight at 7:30. We'll do a stream tonight. Probably just going to be casual. I've been all over the place, so I can't really commit to anything crazy tonight. But we'll kick it tonight at 7:30. And we'll talk tomorrow. Maybe we'll go over some more reviews and whatnot. And then we'll do a spoiler stream either over the weekend or more likely on Monday. But yeah, no, I'm a little surprised, man. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. I think it's really good. I think it has something that a lot of other comic book movies do not have. And therefore, it's special. It is a special movie. I think if you're a big Superman fan, you got to check it out. I think you're going to like it. All right? All right, everybody. Much love, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Leave. Man, I did not know if we were going to be able to pull through. I started getting real hot, and I started getting real frustrated, and I was like, fuck. I'm trying to, like, say some important shit. I gotta think. Fuck. But we got it figured out. You know what I mean? We recovered. We did great. So thank you. Thank you for your patience. Appreciate it. This actually, I brought over a mini AC unit. It actually did the trick. So that's nice. I'll do that in the future. So we won't have to deal with that. Let's fix the fucking air conditioner in the house. You know what I mean? Let's get that shit fixed. Superman, where you at? Motherfucker, get over here. All right, anyway, appreciate you guys. Thank you. Much love. I'm sure we will be arguing soon again before you know it. Just what we do. You know, nerds being nerds. A lot of opinions. A lot of you guys are going to see it soon. You'll make up your own mind. We'll talk about it. It's going to be fun. All right. Do me a favor. Would you? Open up your third eye. And wash out your stinky butthole.